Interrobang, I'm Jack Sutton. Welcome to the Red Couch podcast. So, this is my first time hosting this podcast. I'm a new reporter with the Interrobang, so please forgive me if I get a little messed up or confused. But I'll tell you a little bit about myself first before we get to our guest. I am in my second year here at Fanshawe. I study broadcast journalism. Uh, I've been writing for the X since the start of last summer, so you can see some of my work on that website. And I just started maybe last week or so with the Interrobang, so keep an eye out for some of my articles there. Don't really know what else to tell you about me. I'm in London now. Before this, I lived in Japan for 4 years, teaching English. I was going to school in Halifax before that for a few years at Dalhousie University. And before that, I was back here in London in high school. So it's been a little bit of a journey, but happy to be back in London. I'm happy to be at Fanshawe and really happy to be working with the Interrobang and talking to your FSU president today. So let's get to that. So hi, Sid.
Hey.
All right. So can you introduce yourself to the viewers?
Of course. So my name is Siddharth Singh, but everyone calls me Sid, and so can the viewers as well. And I'm the FSU president for year 24-25. Before that, I was a student in Fanshawe. I did business management at South Campus. It's a 2-year program. And during my time, I started as a volunteer in the FSU. Then I got hired as an event ambassador. I was involved in some other volunteering programs in college as well. And when I was about to graduate, I decided to run for the elections. And because of the student support, I won. And here I am.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
I do remember seeing that last year. I was working in the Outback Shack last year, and you guys had your the announcement for the winners. So
Yes.
I saw you get up on stage and give a little talk. So it's great to meet you in person finally. So you were a student here at Fanshawe. Tell me a little bit about your time here as a student. What did you enjoy about your program? What did you enjoy about the Fanshawe community?
So the Fanshawe community, I love the diversity over here. It's because we still represent more than 100 countries among students. And particularly about my course, I was at South Campus, as I mentioned. But my professors were really supportive. They were really helpful to all the new students. As I was a new student, I was new to Canada. It was my first time moving to some other country. I didn't know how the actual winters were, which was a surprise to me. And there are actually gears that you have to buy, like gloves and mufflers and all those things. But in Fanshawe, I got introduced to main campus as being a part of Red Squad. As I said, I started as a volunteer, and that was one of the best decisions that I made in my academic journey in Fanshawe, because I met a lot of people. I met students from different programs, different schools. I met student leaders who were elected during that time. I met the permanent staff. And so it was a great opportunity for me to build a connection, to build a network basically. And I made a lot of connections, and some of them I'm still friends with. So that was my overall journey at Fanshawe. And yeah.
Amazing. Well, it sounds like it was a good couple of years there. So you said you moved to Canada. So you moved to Canada to study, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I've also experienced moving to a new country. So I do get all the kind of like things you don't expect and the problems that come with that. So first, I want to ask, why Canada?
Uh, okay, so there's not like an inspiring story behind it. So I did my bachelor's. I'm from Mumbai. I did my bachelor's from University of Mumbai, uh, and I had a really close a friend circle basically, and they moved to Canada before me. I started my own business, then COVID happened, and after that I decided maybe I should learn a little bit more about management, because I am not ready to handle business. And that's when I was looking for options in my home country, but then I spoke to my friends who were already here, and they said, and they were in Fanshawe, they are Fanshawe alumni, and they were the one who suggested that why don't you come here, and it's challenging, but at the same time it'll make you grow as a person. So, and I was looking for a challenge, so that's why I thought, okay, maybe let's move to some other country, specifically Canada, because I already had friends over here.
Okay, that's a pretty good story. You said not inspiring, but it's a good story. When people ask me like, why did you move to Japan? My response was always like, I don't know, I got a job here. Like that's it. So yeah, no, it sounds like a good journey there. Um, so you mentioned the winter was pretty rough at the beginning. What else did you find like most challenging about moving here?
uh, so I wouldn't say it was challenging, but it was surprising, because specifically if you talk about London, people are really really friendly. They are kind, like they would say thank you to the bus driver whenever they get off. And I'm from a country, from a city where, like, we have a lot of population, and everyone is busy with their life, that they wouldn't care to like wave at each other. So that was surprising to me. And also, like, using the zebra crossing, I don't know the specific term for it, but yeah, the zebra crossing to actually cross the street, because again, where I'm from, we don't use that. So those are the things that was like really surprising, where like people are actually following the rules. Will I get cancelled for this from my own country?
Oh no. No, you can say anything. But it's a good point though. I mean we have like in the world there's like high trust societies and what they call low trust societies, and I don't think that's like a negative I don't think there's any negative connotations really. It's just in some places people just follow rules because they're rules, and some places they don't. But it's funny you mentioned the crosswalks because I always found in Canada more than like many places I've been, people just walk. Not when there's traffic, of course, but like if I'm walking up to like a side street or something, I'm not waiting for that light to change. In Japan, I used to do that, and all the little old ladies would just glare at me. Um, so yeah, no, Canada has a reputation for that kind of thing, the being nice, um, following rules, that kind of thing. Have there been any times that you found where Canadians did not live up to that reputation?
Hmm.
It's
Uh,
okay, I won't be
n-
offended.
I would say, okay. Not in London, but I was in Ottawa a couple of months ago. That's and again, Canada is a huge country with all sorts of people. So of course, if there are some positive experience, there would be some negative experience as well. It's just the people. So I did saw some racism, not towards me, but a friend of mine. He was from China. That was the first time. Like, I've been here for 3 years, and that was the first time where I actually saw that. Uh, uh, but he handled it pretty maturely, and yeah, well, it's the person was frustrated, or and he was just finding a way to vent out, and he did it on my friends.
Yeah, or maybe he was just a racist. I mean, yeah, no, it's that exists everywhere. I think,
Mhm.
right? In every country. I grew up in a very small town, so I mean, I saw things like that more often, I think, than in big cities. But overall, you'd say your experience here has been good.
Yes, my personal experience, it has been quite a journey. Again, from you know coming to this country as a clueless student to being the president of the student union.
Mm-hmm.
It has, and actually I did get a lot of support from domestic students as well during the elections, which
Mm-hmm.
was, I felt proud of myself. I would say,
Good.
where, okay, I am doing something right. That's why everything is happening the way it is.
Yeah, you'll be the next one on one of those big fan shop posters that says like, "This is success." It'll be Sid.
I hope so. RBM, if you're watching this.
So, yeah, as you said, you are now the FSU president. Um, so let's get into some of that. I think a lot of students think about their student union, and I don't know if everyone really understands what a student union does. People think of like, oh, they put on events, they put on, they hand out free food in the hallway sometimes, or there's some event at the Outback. Um, But what goes on more behind the scenes? What does the student union really do for Fanshawe?
So event is the fun part, and but we do provide wide range of services. For example, like food spaces, we have Outback Shack Oasis, CD. So those food spaces are operated by the student union. We also advocate. So that is my particular role, representing 21,000 students. So if there are issues that students are facing, which is not related to their academic appeal or grade appeal, then it comes to me. And if it is related to their academic, then we have different coordinators. One of our coordinators is Gabriel, advocacy and communication. So he will look after the appeal process, uh, or if a student is facing any issues with any of the professors and all those kind of things. So he works closely with the ombuds department. We, as the FSU, even though we are a separate entity, we do work closely with the college, and so that at the end, our goal is to serve students. College does the same thing. And if there are, mm, other than that, you talked about free food. We also have a program called a sharing shop, where it's because there is an issue of food insecurity that's going on all over Canada. So that is one of our attempt to counter that and provide our students with some nutritious meal. Um, so at the back, there is a lot of moving parts that students don't see. We also take care of the bus pass, domestic health plan, which students usually they think that FSU and Fanshawe both are same. And if they are angry with Fanshawe, they would be angry with the FSU as well. They will vent out their anger to us, which is fine, because we are here to know all those issues and work on it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. It's funny that students tend to lump Fanshawe and the FSU together when in reality it's like Fanshawe and the FSU are kind of at odds, right? It's like you're representing students to deal with Fanshawe and make sure that things students are being treated fairly, that things are affordable. So really, you're kind of like the opposite of Fanshawe. Um, Okay, you mentioned the food insecurity and providing programs for that. I mean, I think we all know, and I think everyone watching knows as well that people are going through a really hard time right now. Everything's expensive. It's hard to find work right now. Um, so with you're doing the food program as well. What other services are you providing to help students get through this time?
Uh, so, if we talk about jobs, so that is something that should be dealt on a provincial or a federal level.
Yeah.
So, FSU is an observer. It is a part of two organizations. One is Ontario Student Voices, which we became a part of this year, and CASA, which we became a part, I think so, last year. So these organizations, they basically advocate on behalf of the student union. So there are multiple student unions. So if we talk about CASA, we have University of Toronto, Western University, Fanshawe College, Conestoga, and all the colleges from across Canada are like are a part of this organization. Not all of them, but most of them, like 30 to 35. And then we meet thrice a year. So we'll meet in summers. We will discuss on the issues that all the students are facing that can be advocated on a federal level, not on provincial, because food security falls under
Yeah.
province. And then we will shortlist 5 issues, and we will. So these are the issues that we are going to work on. And in the November, that is Advocacy Week, some of the student union president will again go to Ottawa and meet with some MPs, so that they can hear us and they can pass the bill in the House of Commons. For OSV, our main focus is again food security. If I specifically talk about Fanshawe, then we are starting a new committee with College and Alumni Association to provide more options for food, which will be available in a few months. Right now, the plan we have the funding, the planning is going on, and that is other than CDs and sharing shop and the other value meal options that we have. So this year, our chef, culinary manager Mike, he also worked on creating spreading out the value meal options to Oasis and Outback Shack. So the menu was redone, and if you look at it, so you'll see some value meal options which are larger in portion, so that it can be used by students for two or three meals. By the same time, the pricing is $8 or $9.
Okay, that's actually quite exciting, and everyone loves food, right? I hadn't noticed that actually. What are some of those value meal options?
So last year we were giving out uh, the things that I remember was poutine. So it was 4 ounces of fries for $6. Now we are giving 8 ounces of fries for $9. So
Okay.
double the quantity, because if we play with the quantity, we can lower the price. We have a trio option in Outback Shack, which includes mozzarella sticks plus uh, I think some mushrooms, and there was some other thing. So again, a small platter which is for $10 or $11, and so we have two. You can get 2.5 ounces burger from Outback Shack for $8. So yeah, those are things.
That's pretty good though. Yeah, because I remember last year they had value meal options and things like that, but I always felt like it's a little too small, and I like to eat. It's a hobby of mine, really. So yeah, that's actually great. So I'm glad that the FSU is kind of making more options there. Um, okay, well, just to lighten it up a little bit, I talked to some students and just asked them, "What do you think about the FSU? What would you like to see changed? What are some complaints you have?" So I wrote down a few of the ones that stuck out to me. Some of them are ridiculous, but I'll read them anyway. um, so, because one of them that made me think of it, the Oasis and food. One of them was they said Oasis gives really small portions of food and it's too expensive. Sometimes that's true. I mean, I was actually there the other day at the burrito place, and like it was. I will admit the portion seemed a little smaller. Um, as for price, I mean, it's always been a little pricey. So you talked about the value meals. What else? What else can you do to ensure that Oasis is like good value? Not just Oasis. I mean, all the food places on campus. How can you, as the FSU, ensure that is good value for what you get?
So I didn't know about the burrito fact because I've never had burrito.
Oh, really?
You know, uh, but as for my experience with the Oasis, the stir fry option, where again the portion size is like huge over
Yeah, that
there,
is huge. Yeah.
but these feedback will be passed on
Yeah, for sure.
about burrito. For the other food options, again, CDs was open recently, and if you
Mm-hmm.
look at the menu, it's extremely cheap, but at the same time, it can fill you up for just one meal.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the concept that we were going on, and again, we are a non-profit organization, so whatever money that we get, we again reinvest it for the betterment of the students. So as of now, it's a constant process of finding ways, finding options to source groceries and raw materials for the food from different vendors where we can get the cheapest price. So it's a constant process, and we will in the future hopefully lower the prices even more.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing, like you mentioned, it is a non-profit organization. So, I mean, I think when people are complaining about prices and stuff, it's like that's just the cost of food. I mean, no one at in FSU is raising prices to pay any executives extra money or anything. It's just what it costs, right? And labor is a big thing. Minimum wage is always going up. So it's yeah, I feel like you guys are doing what you can. Here's some other ones. Somebody said, "I don't use all the services, so why do I have to pay for all of it?" Um, I asked for clarification. They were talking about like the gym and stuff like that, or certain events that they don't want to go to, and they feel like why am I paying into this if if I don't want to use what I'm paying for?
So if we specifically talk about gym, and also that falls under athletics ancillary fees.
Also, that's not even part of FSU,
No.
right? All right.
uh, but it was already on my radar, specifically for area campus students where they pay the ancillary fee. But again, if we speak about South Campus, it's like a 40-minute bus drive from South till, and now it's even more because of the construction. Uh, so students won't, like majority of the students won't take that ride just to come to main campus to work out. They would go to some other place which is close by. So I did had like we chatted a bit, me and the director of athletics, about providing a refund, but or maybe providing an alternative, which again is still in process. uh, it's because The first idea was maybe we should approach the local gyms and ask them to subsidize the price for fan show students, but they are already providing student pricing, so they won't go any lower than that. Uh, Second was refund for the unused services, but uh, so the gym, it is operated by a third party company. It's not operated by Fanshawe, and it's same like health plan and bus pass. So right now, if we talk about our bus pass, it's $287 per year, and the monthly pass from LTC is $125
Yeah.
per month. So uh, and whenever, so we do get queries from domestic students, can I opt out of it? And the short answer would be no, because when we negotiate with London Transit, we offer, so our power is with the numbers. So when we offer them 21,000 students, Western University offers them 40,000 students, and that's when we get that low price. If students get an option to opt out, then it will just raise the prices for the other students. So I think so same goes for athletics as well, because there's so many services that they're providing. Uh, and if we talk about gym, then their strength again lies in numbers. So, but at the same time, if the student is not able to use it, then there should be an alternative, and we are working on it.
Yeah. No, I like what you say too about it's about the numbers, right? I mean, like I was mentioning before, how people don't always know what the FSU does. It's a union like any other job, right? It's like the auto workers union or the QP union. I mean, you can't really opt out of it because everyone in your career, your field is part of it, and that's why it works. Um, and especially with those bus passes, it's an amazing deal. I am not looking forward to the day that I'm not a student anymore and have to pay the full price. Let's see. Okay, this one, it seemed like a bit of a complaint. It said FSU events never seem busy, like pub nights. How can you make them more fun? I went to a couple pub nights last year. They weren't super busy, but I remember because I was working at the Outback, the lines were like crazy. They were around all the way out to almost Oasis. So, not quite sure which ones this person went to, but it is a good point though. How can you draw more engagement from students for events?
So last year, so again, it depends on the event. If you're talking about sex driving, it's extremely popular, but we are always trying out with new events so that we know what is, it's a trial and error process, what students are enjoying, so that we can give them a variety. But at the same time, our marketing manager Dina, she came up with an idea last year where during the pub night we would go, the student staff who's working, they would go around students and take like 5 to 10 surveys from random students, where the questions would be easy, like simply asking what is the best part about the event, what are the things that you would like to see as an improvement, what more can we do, and then we collect those data, and then our events team work on it, because we cannot win them all, but at the same time, we don't want to stick with our traditional events, we want to explore more options. So it's a miss and hit, but hopefully we will get to a point where all of our events are extremely busy. Like if we talk about Smash Wrestling, so it was a pilot project, but it was extremely well attended. Uh, some events, so like movie night, it started out slow. Some events in downtown started out slow, but now students get used to it, and now they are enjoying those events. So
Mhm.
it's yeah.
Yeah, it seems like regular events over time seem to be the successful ones. You know, they might not know about it right away, but if it's happening the same day every month or every week, eventually it picks up, right? All right. So, what I want to know from you is what kind of mark do you want to leave on the FSU when you're done your year as president? What do you want to look back and be like, yeah, that's my legacy in the FSU?
That's a tough one.
I know, right?
So
That's why I saved it for last.
uh so well, again, if so I had a couple of points in my manifesto that I wanted to achieve in my term. It's not it's not mandatory for a president to achieve those um, manifesto, but I wanted to do that, and one of the goals which was uh, challenging was to build a new games room in downtown campus, because downtown campus didn't had a games room. And I personally visited to airport campus while building during my campaigning period. They wanted more events, so uh, the FSU hired more event staff. So earlier we had 2 event coordinators, now we have uh, 3 event. So in total we have a team of 5 now. So 2 of them would look after regional campus, 3 of them will look after London campuses. Earlier it was everything was managed by just 2 people. So they wanted more events, they will get more events. Downtown students, they wanted a games room. uh, and it was so there are multiple parties from which you need to get permission from. And being fan show space, uh, I went to downtown campus, I checked out the space, met with the associate dean, and he was happy. The timing was really good because some of the programs were moving to main campus, so they had some space. uh, then I reached out to Peter Gilbert, the CIO of Fanshawe. He gave me a thumbs up, and then after that, we started working on the games room. And the grand opening of games room is on September 12th, which is this week.
Oh wow, that's
Uh,
tomorrow, isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
So I'm really happy with that achievement, because usually these kinds of process take time, and we all as a team were able to do it in such short span of time. So that would I think so that would be my legacy. Whenever downtown student visits that games room, they would say, okay, Sid was the one
Yeah, we'll put
who
a placard on
started
the
this.
door, Sid's game room. Yeah, that's great though. I mean, and that's something. It's something tangible. It's something students can use. It's something you can go and visit one day when you're back. So you said it's opening tomorrow. Any big plans for the opening? Any
So
fun
we have a
events?
grand opening plan. I don't know what the publication and events team has planned, but I'll be there with some of my coordinators to check out the space.
Okay. Oh, it sounds amazing. So good luck with that. Maybe I'll pop by at some point and check it out
You
and
should.
see what I think. Um, all right. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today and to the students here. Hopefully, everyone kind of got to know you a little bit more and what your plans are for this year and for the students.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, and I do have to read my notes for this one. Sorry, everybody, but it's the first time, and I have a few little things that I do need to say to everyone. So be sure to pick up the latest issue of the Interrobang on the newsstands. You can find those throughout the campus. It'll be coming out this week. Catch up with every episode of this podcast on our YouTube channel, or listen on Google, Apple, Spotify, or our website. And you can also follow us on X and subscribe to our newsletter to keep up with all things Fanshawe. For the Interrobang, I'm Jack Sutton.